Hello guys and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our first ever PvP against SirTravis. In the last episode we moved into August 28th, 1942 and we've been pushing around here, dealing some damage, wiped out an ant here. We pushed up a new front line. We're trying to make the illusion of a front line here really. We want him to think that we have more here than we actually do. Especially while we have an offensive sort of pressing around Stalingrad. It's like a fox offensive, I think that's the correct word, and we have a lot of movement of units heading eastwards to actually form this into a proper front, while we have the actual current capital surrounded, not actually attacking that yet because none of our air support is in place. He's completely abandoned his attack on Finland, and so I've started pushing the Finns forward a little bit just as an obligatory thing because, man, if we don't, oh man, there's a lot to still look at over here, but let's start with a fresh slate for right now, and let's look at Japan. Japan is in quite the way of things. 494 MPPs to work with this turn, however, they have to spend quite a lot. We're prepping up for the invasion of Australia, led entirely by the Marines and 1 HQ. That's going to be, I believe, 5 special forces and 1 HQ for the initial landings. That's all we can get on long-range transports. The whole fleet is currently on its way to help. I plan on stopping them by the Solomon Islands before we begin to sail southwards, mostly wiping out every ship in the area that we see, while the transports will come in from behind. I honestly don't expect the actual landings to happen at this rate until probably closer to or about or around September. That's when I expect the landings to happen, but I plan to ideally, let's say, maybe capture Sydney. If we can capture Sydney, then we can move on Canberra in a line with the HQ on Sydney. That would be great. A riskier thing would be to try to land right here and see if we could push into Canberra, but it's probably defended, so Sydney's probably going to have to be how it goes. Australia doesn't have any alternative capitals, so it's just going to be, you know, sweeping, clearing the area of enemy navy, and then landing with what we can, then trickling reinforcements after if need be. But the reinforcements would take a while to be able to land due to the recovery necessary on the port, so it's not something I'm putting a lot of importance into. However, we do still need more special forces lined up for that, and so currently, for Japan, we don't have any research we need to do. There's, of course, some room remaining, but none of that research really matters to me. I have 3 more long-range amphibious transports available. We are going to get another one pretty soon, actually, so maybe we could bring another special forces down there. There is also the opportunity for armies, but for the landings, I really want this to be special forces heavy because the special forces are capable of keeping high supply for a very long time, even though they're not as strong as some things will be fighting. That initial landing, and if we just flood the area with special forces, it doesn't matter if they even get cut off or surrounded too much, because they'll retain supply from the landing, and other units just can't do that. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this like that. But that also creates a new fucking problem, where we still don't have a lot of cores or anything on any of these islands, and so that's just a problem in itself. Let's try to take care of some easy things first. Right here, we can hopefully, with the Indochina Expedition Army, wipe out the Malay Last Stand Corps, and there you go. Wiped out, we got some XP. Singapore is now effectively mine. It is effectively 1 MPP per strength, so that's really good. The Indochina Expedition Army will start moving back, as will the Mutagushi HQ. Bangkok, see, this one's going to be quite interesting. We have to allocate these units defensively in the area. I know we were making just a quick stop over here. There's a lot of movement and stuff that needs to happen in this region. We do definitely want something powerful enough defending Singapore. You know, at least a core, at the very least. Cores are just these great defensive units that I'm wanting to allocate, but gosh, there's just simply not enough of them. Not to mention, I still have to set up the goddamn defense of the DEI. Well, at least that is captured. That's good. That's nice. We do need to move things. I need to figure out what the range of MPPs I have even looks like, honestly. I don't want to try to squeeze out any more elite reinforcements right now for the group going to Australia. We need to get to sea quickly. 69 MPPs to get this one out to sea. Pretty decent spot, not too bad. I wish I could specifically tell you where to go so you don't just pop out right here or something. Luckily, we have other options. We got the Special Forces over here is at full strength. The 7th Yokosuka will pay to get that out to sea. We're going to pay for all 3 of these right now. And so that's like basically 70 times 3. It's like 200. We spent 207. It's actually 69 each to get all of those out to sea. We have only 287 MPPs remaining. Thankfully, we had extra this turn, though I don't remember why we had extra. I think it's because we pillaged Communist China. I think Communist China had quite a bit of MPPs to give us, which is handy. This maritime bomber is on Iwo Jima here, I believe, yeah. Keeping an eye on this region for us, and thankfully, we see nothing. I could do some patrolling as it, but we'll hold off on that. 287 MPPs, that's not a lot. That is not a lot. Taking a look at where we're going, we'll send this destroyer forward first, just normal movement speed. That's like the edge of the supply zone that we have over here, so I figured that would be pretty good. We want to move around through and about the Solomon Islands where we have supply as we set up to go forth. If we get from here to here in one turn, we could be on the doorstep to Australia in the next turn. You see why it's so important to get all these out to sea as soon as possible. Even if one of them's over here, it can move pretty quickly. And we'll have to make a stop kind of outside of Sydney and, what is this here, Brisbane? Before we can actually land there. Because we're going to have to clear the area of ships, ideally. But he'll get a pretty good idea that we're on our way there. He might start operating planes or whatnot. I'm hoping that by the time it becomes extremely evident to him what I'm doing, he'll already be too far gone in setting up an Operation Torch. I'm crossing my fingers. Not that I want to deal with an Operation Torch, and I don't want him to even take his eyes off it at the same time. I'm trying to do something I've never done before, and it's quite brutal. Thankfully, he seems to have halted his advance over in this region here, so that's a good thing. Wonder if we can worry him with our advance down this way. He might move some Indians. India's not that threatening of an enemy, quite frankly. They can send some of their MPPs over to the UK, but they only really produce as much as Italy anyway, and they start out with less, so I'm not too concerned. I am not going to have, with what I'm doing, the MPPs to reinforce this right now, but thankfully I don't seem to need to. We're just going to move you south once. Head you over to Wanting. Yeah, I was afraid we wouldn't quite have enough in this region, enough supply to justify moving one of them all the way up there so soon, and, you know, we're not gonna. I'll move you up into the mountain jungle. Up here, because you'll still have enough supply to actually reinforce if you need to, and then this guy will, I suppose, just stay where he is for right now. He needs to reinforce. There's some unit work that needs doing, but these HQs, these 2 HQs are in supply. The third one is heading up towards Rangoon to get over to Mandalay, but that is going to take a while, especially at normal movement speeds. We can only operate so far. It's just not worth the MPPs it would take to pull that off, so we're not going to try to. We are simply not going to try to. Now, this is something that's been weighing on me, and this is why I think I'm not going to have a lot of MPPs to work with right now, because there's something we need to set up here. We need to set up more defenses. We need to have more corps available. So I'm going to force march the Bangkok Expedition Corps here. And I guess we're going to rename it, because it's not staying on Bangkok anymore. So let's name it Singapore Expedition. There you go, the Singapore Expedition Corps. Because I'm going to use the local ability to recruit corps to have a Bangkok Thai Corps. It will be upgraded with non-mobility stuff, but the standard stuff, which is expensive. It's more expensive than making my own, but lacking, you know, transport costs, it is pretty efficient. No mobility should be needed because this is a defensive unit. So we're going to go ahead and make this. We're not going to make the HQs, I think, for the Thais, because right now I'm making them as a defensive fixture exclusively. So anti-air, 2 infantry weapons. We'll just get that pumping out right now. That's a lot of my remaining MPPs. I only have 90 MPPs remaining, but we did get 3 new of these special forces out to sea. It will take about 4 turns for that to be done, and then it will be placed right here. I'm just going to cross my fingers that in the next trimester, he does not try to, like, land on or take Bangkok somehow. Because if he does, the whole nation is falling and he's getting plunder, and that's going to fuck me up in this region. But I still have units in the region. We have armies that are going to be coming up through here, I guess I can just immediately... Do we have partisans to worry about here? No. I could just immediately step off here and start heading that way, because that's what we're going to need to do to get prepared a defensive front initially on Burma until I can dedicate the MPPs required to turn it into more of an offensive front. And now we have some fun stuff to look at over here. Some fun stuff for sure. Now... we want to see what's on the way to Golmand. There's absolutely nothing on Golmand, so I could just push up to Golmand like that, and that's going to work out very, very well, which is very, very nice. I am beginning to get quite frustrated with my lack of setting up proper defenses on literally any of these islands. He could land on this entire front line of islands right now, especially with this one leaving Wake, and just step on it and take it. And the only reason he doesn't is because he doesn't know he can. Let's be real. The only reason he doesn't do this is because he isn't aware that he can do this. I can try to leave some subs in the area, you know, at key points where he might pass through to try to dissuade him from doing that, but then those subs can't follow my main forces south. And look how many of these islands there are. I could prioritize some of these ones that are lesser of importance. The thing is, you know, I know we still need another garrison. I remember that. We still need another garrison too. So it's like a whole nother problem that I have to deal with here. And it's just going to take up all my money to try to solve all these problems. Actually, two. I'm going to need 2 more garrisons. And so here's just the beautiful thing, right? I have enough MPPs to purchase those 2 garrisons that I need, the final 2, right now. But, you know, then I won't be able to transport any cores. I won't be able to reinforce. I've been having to play these silly little resource allocation, like, mind games this whole time. And this whole time, like, he could begin his island hopping campaign at any moment. And there's nothing to stop him. Any we talk, say goodbye to it. Tarawa, say goodbye to it. The whole Gilbert, Marshall Islands, just say goodbye to them. Wake, at this point, say goodbye to it. So because of that, I really need to kind of spread out what I'm doing here. Let's move the special forces over to Manila. This would probably be the next one to depart the Philippines eventually. Eventually. And I really do have to split my efforts. So do we have any garrisons being made? We have none being made. Okay, I need to make another one. Look how few I have, too. This is why I'm kind of needing to dedicate cores to be sort of a frontline defensive unit, because we just don't really have the manpower otherwise, especially with how many garrisons we need in general. So that's a big thing, but cores... we can get a lot of cores, not to mention Nanjing can even make its own core, and that could be very useful, maybe not for Nanjing, but maybe for, say, Hong Kong, if that much would even be needed, which I don't really think it would. Nanjing core can go somewhere else, but probably somewhere on the mainland, so it can't get deleted from across the map or something. But I'll purchase one of these. I'll purchase the 17th garrison here. So we have 1 garrison purchased. The other one will have to wait. Alright, the other one will have to wait, because we're going to need one, looks like still for Lanchao. We still need one right over here for this spot, because we don't have anything else that can, like, micro-manage that, multitask that or anything. And then potentially one for the capital, Hong Kong, because this is the one capital I feel like doesn't really, this and Nanjing proper. I feel like these ones don't need cores, because... these are not, like, choke points, these are not special locations, these are not even really threatened. Hong Kong maybe more than Nanjing, but both of these are just of extreme lesser importance. And we do have enough garrisons to maybe get away with that. There's not a lot of other partisan points really to worry about elsewhere. So because of that, and because this one is upgraded with infantry weapons and it's got its elite reinforcements, we're going to go ahead, 21 MPPs to go put this first corps out at sea. This is going to be delaying what my bombers can do for upgrades. I know I'm waiting on that. I know I haven't assigned them anything. Hanoi is like a tricky one, right? Like, I feel like Hanoi needs a core more than Hong Kong. If Hanoi's taken, like, all of this falls. If Hong Kong takes in just this. If Nanjing is taken, then technically I lose, like, these other garrisons as well, but I don't think he's gonna be landing here and then insta-taking Nanjing, you know what I mean? Like, that just seems not really in the cards. We can definitely go ahead here and finish the first anti-air off, like so. 4 damage dealt, none taken. Moving forward, there isn't really a lot of point. There's not a lot of point to moving forward here, but his HQ is just out in the open. Let's just go ahead, deal that 8 damage. That's pretty nice. And we're gonna need to definitely be moving forward, and probably as quickly as possible. We got it's decent supply in the region right now. I'm not too afraid of a random garrison, so if I want to push this advantage, we'll just be moving the HQ this way, buff supply over towards Gulmand. He's kind of given up on this area anyway, so this push is mostly a formality. This made supply even better. Let's see here. I don't want to force march this. I really don't want to. I don't have a whole lot of choice, however. It's not entirely up to me. We do have this extra army that I'm still not sure where to send it. I'd love to send it somewhere, like, back to Tokyo. But, you know, realistically, where I should send an army and where freeing up one would be good for? Down to Australia. Because if we do successfully take it or not, a front will open there and we will need an army. So freeing up an army would actually be probably a pretty good thing here. Again, not too afraid of any of this other stuff. I think I will go ahead and I'm just going to force march over here. What's he going to do? Charge with a garrison and deal damage to me? No, he's not. We have enough supply over here for it to not be that big of a deal. Anyway, it allows me to force march another army to the west towards Gulmand, so I'll have these two separate pushes going like I originally planned and didn't think I'd really be able to do. We are going to force march the Arty, giving up any shells they have. This one can't quite get that far, so we're just going to go right there. You are going to move into this road here and then swap like that, so you could take care of those two partisan points, thus freeing up an army. Look at that. Wow. And we know we're probably going to be operating an army to the northeast still. It can be this one. It can be this one. Because you know what I could do with this other one? I could send it to the coast here to get it ready to ship down to Australia, for example. And thus, you know, getting somebody else out to sea would be pretty good as well. For example, the Peking Defender Corps. Yeah, let's go ahead. So we paid for one garrison. We're paying for 3 special forces out to sea and 2 corps out to sea. The Peking Defender Corps and the 1st Corps out to sea. We will, let's just move this corps over to Sing Sao, free this up right here, 37th Army to Tientsin. And the, what do I even name this? The Australian Expedition. No, we don't want that. The Australia Expedition Army. There you go. And then, I mean, rushing my way up north, not really necessary in the long run, but I don't even know when this guy's going to be able to go anywhere anyway, so let's just force march him as far as he can get. For right now, the Arty's moved up as far as it can. It's not very far. This is going to become a very minor front. There will be the 2 HQs pushing down either side of the road, 2 armies to each one, and 1 artillery. That should be more than enough to deal with anything else China could throw at me. We are going to clean this up still, however. Oh shit, I have still another extra army here, huh? I have like a whole nother extra army here. I just realized there's like 2, right? So maybe I was tempted to send 3, but that's really unnecessary. Well, both of them, or both, right? Like 2 of them in general could be freed up for Australia. I would definitely need that. We already still have 3 for right here. We have 2 HQs down here, and we have 3 armies for each of them. Well, we'll have 3 HQs actually. So, I mean, this could use more, but those armies could be just freed up from elsewhere. For example, maybe from China. I see that I wisely named this the Rangoon Expedition Corps. It's heading to take the place of those paratroopers, which would be probably much more useful on non-defensive duty. So we'll force march this corps through Kweichow, getting that heading over to Rangoon. Well, if you count the paratrooper as an army, which you probably shouldn't, then freeing up 1 army for down there would be fine as well. It's very iffy of a situation of where I should even dedicate things. These armies that will be dedicated to the Soviets really in the long run won't be staying here, you know? They're not going to stay in the Soviet Union, and eventually we really won't even need more than 2 if we actually fight long enough to claim all these border towns and head around towards Irkutsk, for example. He's not going to have any units up here to worry about. If we actually got to this point, then they could split up pretty easily, pretty nice and fine. One or two armies, though, definitely could be headed down towards Rangoon as well, because an invasion of India would probably happen from Japan. It would be the next kind of large thing, but I'm intentionally not pressing that invasion. I'm trying to not even assign a lot of MPPs down over here, just setting up a defense in case he forces me to open this front, while I try to start pouring everything to areas where I haven't been paying attention. For example, getting that core up in the DEI, that'll be up in November. October. November for the Thailand core. We still need more cores, more defenses for the DEI. That other Thailand core could be helpful for Singapore, freeing up another core that can go elsewhere. So much MPP need as Japan, and just not enough MPPs to work with, not nearly. Only 3 MPPs remaining on just all of my units combined right now. I could actually bomb this. I was not aware of that. I don't know that I want to kill that with a not land unit though, because again, you don't really get any credit for that. So what we should probably be doing is moving some planes further along here. I know we'll probably want a tactical bomber more around here, probably on or next to Mandalay. Or I think Chiang Mai was more the idea here, and then another one would be going somewhere to the north, perhaps. It's something like that. I know this can use some upgrades, but we can still upgrade over by Chiang Mai, I'm pretty sure. Attached to an HQ or not. We got the range, you know? So let's just fly down to Luan Prabang. I know that this medium bomber is awaiting upgrades, so we'll let it, you know, just continue to wait, I suppose. A fighter getting closer would definitely be ideal, though ideal happens somewhere around Lashio or Kunming, but we have a garrison on Kunming, so that's probably a little strange. It would be a temporary posting, I suppose. Wanting and Lashio, the rest of them, they're kind of needed for the HQs for right now. Having 3 HQs on this front already seems maybe a little excessive, but it would be necessary for any kind of offensive. We'll actually move this garrison off of Kunming. We'll move the Second Air Army down to Kunming, and that provides good protection all the way down even to Chiang Mai, and that's pretty good. And it'll have some pretty good supply over here as well. This garrison, actually needs to be right here anyway to take care of that. So yeah, that works out perfectly then. All right, it's hard to remember the situation when you play as not frequently as we do. Like, it's been 3 weeks since the last time I did a turn, last episode aside. A lot happens and changes in that time frame. Ooh, this is going to be a little tricky right here. These garrison points right here will definitely be a little tricky. The ability to move stuff would be nice, but we'll make do with what we have, I suppose. So where will I send this other tactical bomber? Probably just into the same region, at the very least. But I don't know if you're going to get your own town. However, regardless, for now, it's fine because we have just an abundance of HQs over there to begin with. That, and something to keep in mind is we will probably want some air capable of heading towards Australia. Now that includes a fighter, which I don't have, but I will have air fighters on my carriers. So that kind of takes care of that. A medium bomber would also be pretty useful, probably as a more permanent fixture. So if we could get this over there, that would be pretty great, but it's not upgraded and it's not even reinforced. It can upgrade from where it is. It cannot reinforce. Another fighter unit eventually would be pretty sweet. The thing is just that I know for a fact, man, that he's going to have fighter coverage here. I don't know if the Indians have any fighters, and I don't know if we even need it against them the more I think about this. So having just the 2 tactical bombers with the 1 fighter over here might actually be a decent idea. And dedicating, say, 2 medium bombers to go along with the carriers might be great for Australia because, and now this is a lot, this could really stretch that HQ thin. But if we can get air power down there, we could actually progress a lot better after the landing, mind you. And if they're medium bombers, they'll actually be capable, and you know we do have 2, of responding to enemy naval presence in the area as well with those bombers if need be. So actually, I might just take these medium bombers out of here. Let's just like send them over to Hong Kong or something. They can't even get there in 1 turn. But somewhere close by, right? Canton, just because eventually I think I'm just going to operate this motherfucker down to Australia. Australia, let's just say Australia naval, Australia naval medium bombers is sure, whatever. And this other one is maybe aptly named already, 6th Air Army. That's not what I associate with this. Let's just call this the Solomon medium bombers. And then I guess just the naval indicates that this is coming from the mainland. Yeah, sure, this seems fine to me. And then we could send this tactical bomber down to Nanning. With the way this is, I'm starting to even second guess where I'm having some of these units placed. But we'll go back on defending Hanoi. That should work pretty well. Maybe moving the fighters down here eventually would actually be a pretty good idea. I'm not sure. Well, in that case, for now, we'll just fly down to... oh gosh, you know, it's a really good question. It's a really good question. Let's say to Chongqing, Queiqiao. I guess get as close as possible. So you could just go like right here. Just get as close as possible so that I kind of have the idea, because I keep reorganizing this every turn in my head because it just takes so long. There's still so much to do this turn. This is a pretty eventful turn. He's really got me thinking this turn. Let me force sail these 2 corps that are out at sea as far as they can safely get. Safely. I don't want to move off this dock with the special forces until I can properly move. So that's gonna be a little bit limiting, but we can get close enough just by doing one of these. There you go. That's close enough. And then, where is it? With this one, this first corps right here, it's heading maybe a little more south. I don't really know where it's destined to go to be honest. But I'm thinking like Wake and Eniwetok, these are the most defensible, like single hex islands upcoming, right? That he would go for first. So let me just stop you down by truck for safety. For right now, having someone on truck would be pretty good as well, though it's not as easily defended. Now, I'm not really sure how to do the defense over here at like Tarawa and Mahuro because they only have 3 supply, and this one is not even a... Well, it says it has 5. Maybe it's getting it from the port. Okay, well, that's better then. Okay. I was say I'm not really sure how to do this because the supply is so bad, but I guess 5's good enough. That would allow you to do upgrades. So we could head down there to Tarawa. Maybe just ignore Wake for right now in general and go to Eniwetok. The reason being is that these are actual national morale objectives, and those are way more important in the long run to keep my national morale high and keep America's lower. And we're at 106%. He's at 90% right now. Wake is not as important for that, nor is Roy Namur. Nor is Mahuro. But as you see, we still need a lot more cores to actually pull this off. So you cannot move this turn. Let's see. Let me actually just move the actual fleet first. That sounds like a pretty ripe idea, doesn't it? I think it does. Let's move you right over there. Holy mother of God, what the fuck? Oh, shit. It's safe to say I was not expecting this at all. We can't even necessarily rush up to them that quickly. Well, he's gonna know the invasion is coming sooner than I would hope. Sooner. What one did I move forward? The Akagi? It still has an escort. No strikes, but it has 1 escort, meaning I think those planes can still fly, even right now, which is good. Good, because we might need to do some bombing here. He doesn't seem to have any carriers. In fact, I think these are Australian ships exclusively, which is not too bad, not too shabby. I mean, hell, look at this. If this was actually upgraded, this medium bomber would have a pretty good use right now. That's why maritime bombers are so good. I really did not plan for the idea that he would have Australian ships so far north. I really did not plan for that. Oh my God. Okay. Well, this is exactly what I wanted, right? To find the Australian ships and start blowing them up. But not like this. Not like this. So, okay, these ones are the ones that need bombing the most. So, let's see here. What is your range? With all my upgrades, we have a strike range of 7. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So, roughly to like right here is as far as I could hope to move carriers and still bomb. Oh, God, motherfucking damn it. We're literally out of time for the episode, too. I really did not calculate for this. Oh, God. Well, that's fine. It's fine, right? We just need to maintain the screen and just... If this fighter one works, perfect. The rest just bomb. And that's it. That's all we need. Oh, good God. This is terrifying. The escort would have been better for this as a fighter, but hey, man, maybe we won't need that much. A battleship could be pretty useful here, given the situation. Oh, this will be crazy to figure out, man. Kind of wish I sent the escort carrier forward first. I thought he would be hiding to the ports like I do, but he's just out here. Oh, Jesus. Okay. All right. we'll figure this out on the next episode. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on this next episode.